Okay, so we played last week, the week before last, it's all kind of blurring together at this point. Thoughtbound Phantasm in a kind of blue-red Murktide style shell, using Thundering Falls as an extra enabler alongside Dragon Rage's Channeler, and consider to make this a gigantic creature for 1 mana. You ever read this card? It's kind of like a draft uncommon from one of the Ravnica sets, Scrolls of Ravnica. It's a 1 mana 2/2, and whenever you Surveil, you put a +1 counter on it. And as long as it has 3 or more counters, it can attack as though it didn't have Defender. And when your deck has, effectively 13 Surveil lands, 4 Considers, 4 Channelers, you get to make this really big, really fast. And we went like 3-2 with the deck, and it wasn't like super impressive, but I think the card Phantasm looked very strong. And I also think that because you have the beef from Thoughtbound Phantasm, you need Murktide Region a lot less. That was something that I definitely felt as we were kind of like clunked up with creatures a little bit. And it also feels like Underworld Breach would be like a much better like finisher than Murktide with Phantasm, where you get to go like Breach, Channeler, Surveil, and kind of like combo off and make like 1 or 2 gigantic Phantasms in the late game. And you also get to play like 4 Ledger Shredder. Your creature split gets to be 4 Shredder, 4 Channeler, 4 Phantasm. So you get to like manipulate your library, fill your yard for Underworld Breach, discard Phantasm if you draw it late. Although drawing late game Phantasms hasn't been too bad. You can get them online pretty quick. And also getting to main deck 4 Ledger Shredders in the Rhinos format I think looks pretty good too. Another thing is like Ragavan is just not very good, I think, in this modern environment. It just has not been a card that I've been impressed with in a while. It's not a card that I'm super happy to register. It's not a card that I'm super afraid to play against. And having a like really, really powerful 1-drop that I think lines up better against the format, like just a gigantic creature for 1 mana is an incredible thing to do in the like Rhinos, Scion of Draco format. And I'm pretty excited about this list. Let's get in there. Liking the start, the Phantasm into Channeler, consider 2 counters immediately. Could also maybe Heat Surveil land, untap Channeler, consider. There's currently no paid deck text. We don't do paid deck text, we just do channel point deck text. Which I don't mind having them as an option, but I've been enjoying the break. I've been doing deck texts every single day for like 4 years. I've been kind of happy with the break. It's also like way better for the YouTube to have them. I mean, we only have 3 a day, so it's not like huge deal either way, of course. Great, I think good hand against Tron. Any chance to lower deck to cost? Not a high one. Currently, there are no paid deck techs. I think paid deck techs are probably never going to come back. I think the stream is a lot better off with no paid deck techs. Land would be good. I think I gotta hold up the Counterspell this turn, right? Ragavan definitely better against Tron. Why'd you get rid of the land there? Well, my hand was really bad, and I was like kind of hoping to find. I guess maybe keeping the land and get the Surveillance is good, but I was hoping to find like more cantrips. I was hoping to find more counterspells. Since I just drew 2 Unholy Heats early against Tron, which can be so tough. And I also had the extra Consider Surveil to like dig deeper for Counterspell, to dig for Bauble. If we hit Bauble, we get to attack for 5 that turn. I feel like the upside was there. I'm still looking for a Counterspell. And a Bauble. Or a Bauble. They also have Oblivion Stone. Also have Oblivion Stone. Trying to set up for like Breach Bolt at some point. Let's keep that on top. See Gravel lands and still want to draw land. I just don't respond to any chat questions ever again. When I graveyarded the land, was it not off this Dragon Rage's Channeler Surveil to consider off the top? And then I drew 2 cards in a row off my draw step and my. I guess it was just the consider, but I don't know. Like the contents of my hand changed a lot over the course of like when I chose to graveyard the land and when I didn't. It's just like. But I was looking more so for cantrips. I was looking for Bauble to attack for 5 a turn, but I don't know how I can just spend so long to like articulate my thoughts and like feel like I have a long good explanation just for chatters to just be like, so you want lands, graveyard lands anyways. Just so like how can we as a community do better? Blood Moon, Subtlety. Yeah, Twitch and Journal, I guess. Maybe there's just no fighting it. Right. Click submit. Yeah, emote only forever. I don't know. It's okay. It's just gonna happen. Tron doing well recently? Yeah, I think Tron's pretty decent. Is Poison good into the O-Stone One Ring deck? No, I don't think so. They're also the Chromatic Star, Chromatic Sphere deck. It's like pretty easy for them to like. If they just have any other artifact and stuff. O-Stone also like usually gets played and activated in the same turn. Not every single time, of course, but huge chunk of the time. Probably getting basic island off of the Strand here. So we have to go Channeler, hold up Counterspell this turn. But I think there's a very good chance we untap in, can kill our opponent. Because we get two power, 3, 4, 5 at least. We could likely put 6 counters on both of these. 6 more counters. So if we can just get Delirium, we should have lethal. Same draw they had last game. I think I graveyard that. Do you think of something with Roots, Eldrazi, Shuffle into your deck effects? Not really. Like, you're just like, why would you want to do that over anything else? You just like lose the card. I guess if you or like you'd have to have some kind of mass mill. Yeah, maybe. I kind of get it actually. Yeah, I guess we both have the same draw both games. That's funny. Graveyard this. Keep that. Delirium online. Yeah, we have lethal. Could have, I guess. Oh wow, we don't have a Bauble. If we had a Bauble, we could attack for like 1,000. Dude, these Phantasms just look really good every single time. Or cost 1 mana. Yeah. The Mirror Spybug, like Phantasm having base 2 power is so nice in this metagame and being 1 mana. Spybug is kinda. We tried this list with Gorehound? This list? I don't know. Surely be an incredibly different deck that also has Phantasm. Okay. One of 3 7-card Expedition map hands in a row. I'm probably going to actually Surveil Lantern 1, save the Consider for Subtlety, then go Shredder Bauble turn 2. Okay, they don't have a second Tron piece this time. I think I'm digging for Counter Magic and Blood Moon. Too hard to take a draw step on that. I have my threat. You don't really need 2 threats against Tron that often. Breach is interesting. Pick up. Nice to draw spells too, of course, just in general. The Graveyard Land. Someone's scrying on top over there. Not clear that they would have a green source necessarily. Find out in a second. Another land. Spoke too soon. So looking for a blue card on top, maybe. Although I could also Breach, draw like 2 this turn. There's a blue card. So let's draw it, plan to Surveil. Almost definitely gonna connive this turn though. Hope that resolves. Let's not Surveil in response. Another land. Guess I'm gonna discard a Breach. I feel like I need a counter on the Shredder pretty bad. I'm gonna Surveil also, and then decide if I'm gonna use the Subtlety or not. I probably will use it so that I can get a bigger Breach off this next turn. Up here's pretty dead, of course. Play a star. 3 cards in hand. Okay, turn off. If we take the turn off the Blood Moon, my opponent will probably be able to O-Stone. They would need a land, but then I just get to Breach with an extra land, which is really nice. Kind of like a Time Walk. Very loose definition. They also may not have a land. We know one of their 3 cards is, or 4 cards is Sylvan Scrying. And if they don't have a land, then it's like a double Time Walk. We'd also actually we could Breach the Blood Moon back into play, potentially. Fetch red source for Bolt. I mean, I'm casting Blood Moon and I don't have Bolt. I feel like I should get the island. I have red in hand. I agree, Breach Bolt is, big part of this. They have the Stone Sack, 4 cards in their hand. One of them is Sylvan Scrying still. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Breach Blood Moon, Bauble. Maybe 3 Baubles. I guess we could Bauble first. Maybe see something on top that would change my mind, like maybe Counterspell. There's Counterspell. So with Counterspell on top, do I want to play Phantasm and get some pressure in play? Seems close. One thing is, like, a lot of their 4-drops are pretty tough anyways. This is okay. I'd play the Moon. Yeah, I think it's somewhat close. I maybe should have bubbled them first. They have another O-Stone on top, so I think this ended up being the better line. They still have so much mana. I think we Moon. Yeah, it's just like a lot of things they could do, like Ring or Karn are both like huge problem. We know that one of their cards is like not super impactful. I think it's a tough call either way. Not gonna fight over the O-Stone. They get double spell without the Moon down. Yeah, but it's like, but even a single spell is too much to beat if we play the moon. Or there's like a lot of spells that we can't beat if they play the moon, but they have to have two impactful spells here, which we can't beat if we moon anyways, probably, unless they're like both Ulamog. But like the majority of Tron's threats are like 4 mana now. It's like they have some Worm Coils and they have some Ulamogs, but it's mostly like rings and Glowstones and Karns. Probably shouldn't have exiled the moon from the graveyard though. I think I'd rather have considered Mishra's Bauble as my cards. Maybe moon over the consider, but also I'm thinking about types for Delirium. I'm gonna get enchantment from the Underworld Breach. About it, 47 months. Opponent grabs a Boseiju. More Izzet flavor. Oh man, what a throwback. Alright, so keep the last breach here. Expressively iterate. Definitely hand this counterspell. I think I just play the island, and not commit a second creature into my opponent's O-Stone. And having 2 counterspells up is nice. This is my last Thundering Falls. So let's go for let's cast Breach this turn. Cast Consider. Or cast Bauble, then cast Consider, then cast Consider. They respond to Consider with the O-Stone. I don't get a second card. I guess that's true either way. Maybe we could have waited one more turn. Doesn't seem like they have too many threats to slam. We thankfully find a Channeler off the Consider, which we'll try to ride to victory here. You can if I bolt in response. Yeah, but then I won't be able to have Counterspell up because then I'd have to Consider. I can't Bauble. 3 cards in their hand. I think they're getting bolted end of turn here. Yeah, been some cool games. Wish I had another Breach in the deck, but we're out all 3 of them. That's kind of like Underworld Breach's little brother. I think instead of blind needling something, let's just graveyard that. Nice. We can attack for I guess we'd have to use the counterspell, but if we use the counterspell, we can attack with the Phantasm, or if we hit any spell off the Consider or Draw Step, non-creature spell. At 11, may have them dead next turn if we're really lucky. How many Considers do I have left? I think this is maybe my last one, actually. No, I have one more in the deck. I think Bolt is likely lethal. They definitely have to counter this at this point. Third O-Stone, or yeah, third O-Stone. Graveyard this. Need to be able to Consider into another piece of interaction, or give myself the highest chance to. This is a Lord of the Rings Consider. Does seem like my opponent's hand is like mostly lands. We know one of their 3 cards is Boseiju. Looks like they do have another spell. The 4th O-Stone I roll. Come on, Counterspell. Kind of tempted to keep this. That I have a threat. Let's see, how many Counterspells do I have left? I have 2 left. I basically win if I find it in my 20 cards. I'm kind of low on breaches, though. Or threats. I think I'll just have to keep this. Feels pretty bad. If I draw any spell, I can like connive away the Misty, though. How many channelers do I have left? 2? Yeah, 4th O-Stone is pretty good. Kind of explains the fate counter on the O-Stone a little bit. People like usually don't bother. One of their 2 cards is Besage You. We also have a Blood Moon left in the deck, but it wouldn't do too much, of course, against the Besage You in hand. No, don't put Lava Dart in your Counterspell deck and thank me later. I guess I could now connive into Counterspell if they play a spell. It seems like their hand is 2 lands. That's some good top decks. Expressive Iteration, Counterspell, Channeler, maybe. Not Spell Pierce. Not Spell Pierce. Tram, 15 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Tough matches so far. Can't get O-Stone. Leveler, Ballista, probably Leveler. Maybe just concede, I don't know. I'll concede if they show me Leveler. They may be boarded in, you never know. They've chosen Snaring Bridge. Which I guess I can't really beat because I'm out of Underworld Breaches. I maybe played my 3rd Breach a little too aggressively, I'm not sure. I'm gonna concede. No lander. Keep this. Let's put back Lightning Bolt. The poison be good against that Tron deck in specific. I think Pick Your Poison is not a card you really want against Tron. It's like kind of nice against map, I guess. But it's pretty rare that you get to maybe get to snag a ring with it sometimes. I don't know. It's also tough when you're bringing in Moon to bring in the Pick Your Poison sometimes. It could be a little bit better than I think, but right now I'm not super high on it. Okay, opponent is deep in the tank on their 7-card hand. Yeah, the games have been pretty good. I'm trying to think if I bobble myself here and I don't see a land on top, I think I'm just getting a Surveil land to try to hit my 2nd land drop probably, or going Scalding Tarn. Well, I go to shuffle main phase. I don't know. We all know what the hand is. We don't need to look at it anymore. And just see. Okay, my opponent has decided now to keep their hand. Okay, they have an upkeep stop. Stop with my upkeep here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 looks at our 2nd land, basically. There we go. Titles Tracker, 3-2 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Yeah, the games have all been really close, and Phantasm has looked good. So I know we're 0-3 on the day, but I'm feeling pretty good. We've also played better. Shredder's nice in this matchup. I need a land. If I graveyard this, I have Delirium, which is pretty relevant. Already have a Phantasm being 3/3 is nice because it kind of gets around all the removal. I have a close Surveil there. Would y'all have kept the Ledger Shredder? It's a really good card in the matchup. Part of the reason why I'm happier to play this card too. Opponent, please. Please. This Rhinos are living in. I think it's way more likely to be Rhinos. Non-zero to be living in. I just don't understand how people can play so slow and also have upkeep. Draw. Maybe they're just new, brand new or something. But the upkeep and draw step stops on these kind of gamers is always so brutal. Let's cast this. It's like a little greedy, but my Phantasm is going to be probably big enough to contend with these rhinos. I could heat one of them. I want to get my 2-for-1. I'm going to feel this Underworld Breach that I have in my hand. This current hand, would you not have an opportunity to play it? The Legend Shredder? I mean, I could play it next turn, but at the cost of missing my next land drop. Yeah, I think this is likely just, brand new player. Okay, so this is gonna make my Phantasm a 5/5 next turn. Living in his Zeph on Surveil lands, yeah, but I don't know how aggressively they're fetching them. Okay, it is living in. I do have a Legend Shredder in the yard. They just have an Oliphant. I have heat for this Oliphant. Currently doing good if they don't have Street Wraith. No Street Wraith for them. Keeping that on top, I think, actually. I'm gonna heat on their turn, so if they force negation my heat, I get to spell Pierce and Connive. That would be really nice. Here's like a Pierce and Pierce on Pierce is probably way too spewy. Okay. I have 6 card types in my yard, huh? I'll exile Lightning Bolts, consider Scalding Tarn, and then have 4 types left. 5, I guess, after I connive this Pierce into the yard. So if I Unholy Heat again, I open myself up a little bit to... Well, can I even Unholy Heat again? I guess I can't. I can Unholy Heat the agents, but also kind of makes things easier for me to just know that I'm just gonna grab Island, and then I'm gonna Bauble twice. I guess I could have Baubled first, but I only get to Bauble once if I really like my top card. Other agents. Feel a little bit bad to lose the Phantasm from the yard. You fetch your gate? No, I was counting with the fetch. At least when I counted, I couldn't. Redraw 2 cards. One of them is a Thoughtbound Phantasm. Probably hard for them to play around double Spell Pierce when I connive away a Spell Pierce, although, I also am just repping Counterspell, of course. Okay, so my opponent is, really obviously not new to Magic Online, with, this, back and forth here. I don't know. Might throw up the Hand Hider, we'll see. Let's throw it up. Just for fun. Am I getting in for 2? I think no. That's a good sign. Violent Outburst into my Spell Pierce here. Knive away a land. Missouri, Twitch Prime, thank you. Hope you're doing well today. We know they also have another agent in their hand, though. Just knive away this Shredder now. Living gamers are still main decking 3 living ins, right? They revealed 34 cards here, so that might have actually... They just pitched a living in, too. I'm gonna counterspell this Grief, I guess. If they have the 4th living in their hand, they can living in again this match. Is anyone into Magic Line? Surely some people. But it's just like, that was my initial thinking here with my opponent who took like 2 minutes to keep their opening hand, upkeep, stop, like long pauses on my instep and stuff. Seemed less likely. They've also, kind of started to play a little bit faster once the hand hider's been up. Unfortunately, I do have the last spell pierce. They have 2 mana up. They get me pretty good here. I'm just gonna have the hand hider up for the rest of this match, though. I think. So I do feel like we should maybe have more sideboard cards for this matchup too. Also possible that like Heat is like better than Bolt. Like it kills Endurance, it kills Hardcast Curator. Yeah, they seem to be more experienced Magic on play. Let's try 2/2 split. You'll need more than like 2 bolts, I think, to have the Breach Bolt finisher. Moon is tough against like the Jittersent deck. You could definitely play Moon. So the mold to 6. And obviously they could have just like been doing something for those 2 minutes. But I'm just gonna have the hand hider up. Maybe with Tortured Existence. Sidious Roots Vengevine deck. If it gets printed in Image 3. Think about force of negationing my Bauble? Probably not, right? Feeling pretty good about my hand here. Not that y'all can see it. Layla would be a sweet MH3 card. I like that card a lot. Yeah. They would likely be mid. Yeah, I don't think it would be a super impactful card, I agree. I'm gonna go ahead and surveil that Shredder into the yard here. Back for 10. Phantasm has been looking really, really good. I've been very impressed with this card. It would likely be great in Rhinos. I don't know. It's a good 4-drop. It's a good 3-drop. We'll see. They were dead on board, but I'll take the concession. I'll keep the hand hider up too. Let's go to game 3. I don't know, maybe on the draw I'll play 3 Heat, 1 Bolt. Like you have to play more of a control game on the draw. Also trim a Breach on the draw. Hit a second Bolt. Let's do that. I don't hate Blood Moon. I don't hate Blood Moon either. It's very swingy. It's very on the draw too, especially with no Ragavans in your deck. It's just like you can't tap out for it. I think if you have Ragavan in your deck, it's like way better. Obviously, like this matchup and Tron are the 2 matchups where Ragavan is very good, and then like basically kind of mid everywhere else. Why do you have breeding pool to sideboard? Makes you need to bring it in. It's very funny. It seems like people either can see the pick poison in the sideboard or they can see the breeding pool, but they can't see both. The trim on Expressive instead of Breach. I feel like I'd rather trim on Breach instead of Expressive. Like, you really don't want to draw 2 copies earlier. Expressive is like much more castable on turn 3, and a lot easier to cast it and hold other stuff up to. Oh, I trimmed. Oh, but you're telling me that's what I did. Oopsie doopsie. Okay, I see. Oops. I see. If your hand was your actual, if your hand hider's action when you stop keep, of course, this hand is incredible. Kind of the joke of the hand. Moxie does the playtest card pick your poison. Yeah, I've been not changing it because I think it's kind of funny. Hope that's okay with y'all. This resolves, which is good. Nice to be the Spell Pierce gamer. So Phantasm's a 7/7. So if we can find Delirium here, which we're missing 1 type, we can put them to 1. Gotta graveyard that, I think. Graveyard that too. Found Bauble. We have Delirium. And we have a 9/9 Phantasm. Well, they didn't have Force of Negation last turn. But so the Mold of 6 on the play. It did feel like when we had Phantasm and Murktide in our first draft, it was just like a little bit too much beef, you know what I'm saying? Basic Forest. Few decks in the format that play that card. I don't think there's. I guess. No, sorry. If I'd seen Channeler on top, I would have. It's Scales. If I'd seen Channeler, I would have. Not cracked my fetch this turn. Well, that we had a Hardened Scales to grow our Thoughtbound Phantasm. They have a Patchwork, which is pretty scary, especially knowing that they have Scales. But we draw a Channeler, which is whatever the opposite of scary is. We get a second Steam Bins here. Maybe I should have gotten Island because I only have 1 more Steam Bin. We get Surveil land off this though. Hoping for no Ballista, I guess. Kind of bad. Okay, just a second, Patchy. They get to smack me for 3 if they don't play any like 0 mana hangerbacks. They might play a hangerback if they have it. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of weird sequencing. I'm gonna do this. I don't have another Steam Bins in the deck, is kind of why. Nice to have a Channeler to maybe block this Inkmoth Nexus if they have a Ravager. Not too often that you can just compete with Hardened Scales double patchwork scales with these kind of decks. They played Agatha's Soul Cauldron. I'm gonna play both them on my upkeep. Oh no. That's bad. Last card for them to have. Okay. Who's that? Lex, 19 months, think welcome back. Okay, pick your poison, pick your poison, pick your poison, needle, cursed totem, explosives, explosives. I think I'm bringing the breeding pool, obviously. Cut the spell pierces. Let me heat. A lot of cards, I guess. From a counterspell, from a breach, seems okay. Maybe even from another. I'm bringing in 3 removal spells I think are a bit better. I think heat is the worst removal spell we have. I guess we also cut a land. Yeah, First Moon seems fine. It's a little bit of tension with the breeding pool, though. I agree, First Moon is okay. Oh, sorry, the Scolding's also. I was like, I was thinking, like, don't I have more for the matchup? Maybe we just don't play the Heats. Heat's kind of bad against them. Let's not play the Moon. We've got the pick your poisons, and you could play it if you wanted to. Okay, nice looking hand. So if I play Phantasm on turn 1, I can get lucky, and I can find another Bauble to... Sorry. I'm gonna lead on the Channeler, though. Because I'm somewhat likely to have Delirium. Next turn between Fetch Land, consider Bauble to attack for 3. No turn 1 Urza Saga is nice. They do have a turn 1 Patchwork, which is very, very good play, of course. Although I guess we're gonna go Phantasm. Pick your poison. Very nice to answer this for 1 mana. Graveyard, don't really need another creature. And we have Delirium. And our Phantasm's gonna be getting in, keep an iteration. Thanks again, Lex 19. When I said poison against Murktide just to kill the Giant Flyer, I would kill it especially to kill the Giant Flyer, yeah. Yeah. Definitely, it's really nice to be if you're gonna play like these blue-red mirrors and you're the gamer that has pick your poison in your deck and your opponent doesn't, it's a pretty big deal. I agree, but pick your poison probably good in the green-red storm deck too. Been wanting to play that deck again, been missing it. It's very odd for my opponent to have Gemstone Caverns and just be so behind the board, but we're happy. So they can maybe non-deliria or undeliria me. We'll see. Lead on iteration. I could iteration and like try to find pick your poison, so I could like strand first, but I think I'm not going to. I'm gonna keep that on top. So just hand the pick your poison bottom. Exile this. Hopefully, don't get too punished for that. They can't cut me off Delirium. I mean, I have 4 card types in my yard right now. Can they not just target the picker or the Ledger Shredder or the Bauble here? Maybe missing something. You have access to instant? Oh, I see. Okay, you're right. I was obviously thinking about getting it back with this, but I realized that I was missing instant. I feel like whenever I'm missing instant and I'm playing Channeler, I just like never see it because it's so rare that you don't have an instant in the yard. I think I've made that mistake several times. But they're at 7. I have a 7/7 Phantasm. Let's go, dude. Okay, 1-1. How do you feel about our sideboard plan? I feel pretty good about it. Also, Mono-Weight Martyr. It's one of those decks that has like very, very swingy matchups. Like your matchup spread is really, what's the word to use? Kind of all over the place. Gotta hold up Stern Scolding here, I think. Log stuff. I'm gonna get Breeding Pool. Very much hope to top deck pick your poison. Alright, I'm gonna play the Thundering Falls with the assumption that they're likely gonna just make a Saga token this turn. I'll save the Bauble to go with my Channeler Surveil, and then hopefully you can find an Explosives to clean up the Saga tokens. So I don't have any more basic islands in the deck. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this. There's a chance I can, maybe not this turn exactly, but there's a chance. I could have Graveyard got Delirium. Delirium to me doesn't matter that much here. Like I'm gonna probably counterspell Graveyard nearly anything. Go cast Phantasm, cast Breach, and then like Bauble. I guess it's only twice. So maybe I can Surveillance as like something good to do next turn, and then wait a turn on like going crazy with the Surveil, Breach, Thoughtbound Phantasm. Specifically, finding Explosives would be awesome. Finds a Welding Jar. Take 4 this turn, 5 if they animate the Nexus. Thankfully didn't animate Nexus, I guess. Big drill step. Yeah, I think I'm still holding up the Counterspell. Delirium online. They have Dismember. Very tough to beat this Dismember here. Am I just dead to the Ravager that I know about? No, they would have to go, like, land, double activate Inkmoth, where I would have to chump block. I think I have to counterspell this. I need this Channeler in play. I need them to just not have a land, only be able to one spell. There's also like a small chance that we get to like untap and kill them here if they miscalculate a little bit. They have the land, unfortunately, which means they can double animate Nexus to present lethal. But they don't go for that. This is 11, 12. Back still 12. I think they've punted. I'm gonna not block. As far as winning this game, though, things are still... Notably, I won't be able to play second Channeler, Breach, and dig for a Bolt to win the game by killing Zabaz, because I can't. I'm just... Well, yeah, they had lethal, I know. Oh, wait, they could have activated Nexus for lethal. Oh, I also miscalculated. Okay, well, perfect. End up working out better, huh? I also don't have... I boarded out one of my islands, which is maybe a mistake, but if I had the island on my deck, I could go Channeler, Breach, and dig for Explosives. So I could still just look for Explosives, potentially. Is it more looks to do that with Iteration? So I go Breach. I can also fetch a Surveil land here. I think I'm always doing that. So why don't I just go ahead and do that first? This should be more looks for the Explosives. I don't think I can like get this big enough to like bolt as a boss and have lethal, but yeah, I don't think I ever get there with just one channel. With two channelers, I think we could. You may just have access to lethal. Yeah, I don't think we can, but yeah, oh yeah, if we find consider, I mean, we would only get to consider one time. Mostly just trying to find explosives, but looks like I only have one more look. No, I guess two more looks. Okay, I found it. Obviously huge. We know that they have a Ravager and a Forest. How do you find explosives and draw it this turn? I don't have to draw it. I can just cast it off the breach. So I guess I can't attack with my Phantasm, though. Because they can just equip Shadow Spear over to Zabaz and then trample over my Channeler. Kind of stinks. Did a Soul Project raise Zabaz? Yeah. That would have to be the one mystery card. Dead to Ballista if Ballista is the mystery card. Pick your poison. Yeah, welding jar the token. They can welding jar the token, but then it gets tapped and removed from combat. Which means I am not dead. Boss flies. The boss can only gain flying with white mana. We know my opponent's hand right now is Forest Ravager mystery card. So that mystery card fits Agatha Soul Cauldron, a white source like the Rising Canopy, or Ballista. We're dead. Disappointed Blinkmoth over Inkmoth. Yeah, there's so many spots for Blinkmoth that's better than Inkmoth, but I'm done fighting the Scales gamers. Also, Scales with the Ring top 8 challenge this weekend, which I feel good about. Used to obviously play a lot of that. So I'm sacking the explosives in response to Ravager, I think. They can't sack the construct value. Sack their jar. One card in their hand. We did not find a counterspell, which is a little concerning, by the way. Live to fight another turn. Woodrow, 18 months. Thank you. Welcome back. I'm gonna go to my second main phase here. I'm definitely not attacking with the Channeler this turn. I think I'm gonna go Thoughtbound Phantasm, Expressive Iteration. If I find a counterspell, great. I can't really die this turn, right? If I don't, then I'll go Cursed Totem. Gotta be better than anything else. Don't die to Ballista, don't die to Cauldron, don't die to anything. So hand the counterspell for next turn. Cursed Totem. No Archmage's Charms in this deck. Would be good in this matchup. Steal the Shadow Spear, equip onto Phantasm. So thinking about using their Ravager in response, I don't really feel like they have good use of the Ravager here. Could be missing something. Crazy game. Good game. Yeah, shout out Thieving Skydiver. Only there was something you could steal artifacts and Surveil. I know Absent Midrange is good right now. Would I play Oust in such a deck? Maybe. I mean, I like Oust in general. I don't know like how I would build Absent Midrange. If that makes sense. So like, I don't know. Like probably not, but non-zero chance. Okay, so they're going in on a Nexus. This was a good play. I think we keep this next turn. It's 0 mana, or two counters on each of these. Worst case scenario, just trying to get this Delirious to block the Inkmoth should be fine. It should be tough for them to survive. We're at 0 poison right now. Reveal a Hangerback Walker, so that plays around my pick your poison really well. They're gonna hit me for 5 poison. This second Channeler should be able to chump block this Nexus for a turn. I'm also still at 1, so I can't like just get hit by. Oh yeah, I guess it's a big problem. Yeah, I guess I need to make them sack the flying blocker post combat. Needs to be my plan. You find Delirium. Like, look at their top card to see how important holding up a counterspell might be. So not important at all. Let's cast Iteration. Can't they animate Nexus and sack it? No, I have a Cursed Totem in play. Oh boy. Needle, dude. Nice to have the Cursed Totem Needle split. I guess I'd even just have this blocker here, huh? So I'll also the bolt instead of pick your poison. But we have, assuming I don't fuck up too bad. Inkmoth Nexus. You have to block here. Yeah, no, I'll just try to. We know they're drawing a forest, so there's not much that matters. Channeler can block the Thopter token. I can also bolt if I need to. I tried Breach with Roots. I haven't. I mean, it just seems like Roots makes you want to play a lot of creatures, and Breach makes you want to play a lot of non-creatures, and so like obviously there's some overlapping synergy, but it doesn't exactly seem like. I think the match has been really good today. It could be a much better show. Guess we're going to go Phantasm into Phantasm, Surveil Land into DRC Bauble on the play. But Breach plus Roots. Well, we just talked about that. I don't know. It's again, my issue is that for the most part, Roots decks want to play a ton of creatures, and Breach decks want to play a ton of non-creatures. So there's tension. But you could try to find a list, figure out a list. Yeah, Sigil Supplier would certainly be the glue. It's kind of like the card that's good with both of these cards. You don't have like if there was like the black. What's the card? There's a red version of this card that you can sacrifice Infernal Plunge. Is that it? Or you sack a creature and like a creature make 3 red mana. If you could make 3 black mana instead of 3 red mana, it'd be awesome. Blood Cantor. I mean the sorcery that sacks the creature for mana. There's like that exists in Legacy for black mana. In Modern it's only red mana, so it's not like a super clean loop. There's also Dark Ritual that you can do the loop with in Timeless. There's like just no black ritual to do it with, but obviously you don't have to do it via that. But if you want to keep looping your supplier, some kind of effect like that would be good. A way to get the Roots tokens haste would work, I guess, if you had Tyvar in play. Yeah, Phyrexian Tower also. I think Phyrexian Tower would be a cool addition to Modern. My opponent's going to also go Marshlet's Overgrown Tomb Thoughtseize. I wonder if this is the chatter who asked us about abs and mid-range. Cute. Yeah, or if Skirk Prospector made black, just this kind of stuff. Dude, I love Thoughtbound Phantasm. New pet card acquired. You're getting attacked for 10 next turn. I what in the world is happening that this card is like a card I'm like loving? Okay, so they're gonna take the Channeler, so we're not gonna get to attack next turn. Never mind, cards off them. Guess we could draw Consider or Channeler. They kept a 1-lander. Must be playing Abzan mid-range. I'm gonna Graveyard this. I know they took a removal spell, but we need to find another Thundering Falls or something like that. They could definitely have another discard spell, but we could also draw a Counterspell. I'm gonna go ahead and crack the bubble. Yeah, they do have another Thoughtseize. So I guess knowing that they're not drawing a land, I save the other bubble. A little bit weird, right? Although if they cast the Thoughtseize, they're down to 11. I can draw any fetch land, or Consider, or Channeler plus spell, or Iteration into, or Breach, like the whole deck. Besides, to not cast the Thoughtseize, which I love. The One Ring. Ring. Burnt Offering. Its additional cost X spell sack creature at X mana in combination of black or red. Where X is the sacrifice creature's mana value. Is that card modern legal? Doesn't really work with Supplier, but yeah, opponent with no second land is Phantasm cracked. To be fair, it's been cracked all day, I feel. Not legal. Yeah, there's one I think that you can sack a creature for 4 black mana. I'm always the newest spec I'm honored. Brief Pitch Bowmasters. Culling the Week, thank you. Imagine evoking Grief and then going Burnt Offering, 4 mana. I guess people have been doing that, huh? Alright. 4 discard spells versus 2 Phantasm-y boys. Okay, cast the Bauble. Wait, Culling the Week is an instant? Dude, that card is broken. I guess all rituals, or most rituals are instant. Because they used to be interrupts, right? Okay, just drawing all counter spells. Brick wall until I draw. I guess that's a little bit bigger than my Phantasms if I draw a fetch land. I really went to let this resolve and just have these be bigger. Consider, Channeler, Fetch Land, Breach, Iteration. Mana sources? Oh, is that what they were called? I guess both is, if we just draw Fetch Land, they're dead. Back in my day, you couldn't counterspell a Dark Ritual. Wow, I didn't know that was ever the case. Alright, Fetch Land. There, I guess. We found the game where Ragavan, but yeah, there have been some games, but obviously weird game where you get discarded 4 times, opponent's on the 1-lander. Mana sources were like lands with the stack, basically. So weird. Was Black Lotus? You could counter Lotus, right? So we're up against a deck that's playing. It's just either Abzan or Black Green Scam with the ring. So I'm gonna bring in a Needle. It was a mono artifact, okay. Bring Scolding against the Grief Bowmaster deck, I guess. Let's not do Pick Your Poison. Go down 1 Spell Piercing, I'm keeping 2. Go down a Bolt. On a Counterspell. Second Spell Pierce, down a Bauble. Consider Bolts. Let's play 2 Bolts. Let's ship a Shredder actually against the Bowmaster deck. Read the ability, but not the reminder text. And tell me what it does. I literally have Sea Serpent in an EDH deck right now. I have this exact card, this exact art, and my Slinvada EDH deck. Island Home, not looking at the art, says you can only attack if you control an island and your attacking opponent, whoever you're attacking, controls an island. I'm very as an avid sea monster gamer. I know what Island Home does. Have that exact card in an EDH deck. 6 mana, 5/5, Island Home. Wrong? Oh, but you sacrifice if you don't have an island? No, just don't tell your opponents that when you're playing EDH, they will not know. Am I holding up Scolding? Let's hold up Scolding. I feel like they could cast something weird here. Maybe it's bad attitude to have. Because like their 2-drops are probably Tarmogoyf Bowmasters, so doing this with the intention of like trying to get like Dark Confidant probably doesn't make any sense. Island Homeward Brave over Dan Dan because you boomerang their island. Is that it? Not gonna bring in Blood Moon with them seemingly playing really hard around it. You can't Scolding Tarmogoyf on the stack, no. Okay, so they just don't have another Bowmasters. They would have responded to the Connive, so let's get rid of the second Scolding. And I want the highest chance of drawing a Spell Pierce for the One Ring. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this. They have Prime Punishment. They can, for 3 mana, kill by Thoughtbound Phantasm, or 4 mana, kill by Ledger Shredder. So they shuffle it away. And Surveil. Build not dead after all into the graveyard. Hit you, Scalding Colossus. Opponent has more than 3 lands. You could not. You've been cheating at FNM, maybe. I don't think this is the One Ring. I think that probably would have been on the stack. Okay, it's Grief. I lose my Bauble. Only have 2 breaches left in the deck too, since I surveilled 1 into the yard earlier. I drew Spell Pierce maybe right on time for for Ring, maybe a little too late. Time will tell. Let's not plan to double block. I'm just gonna go ahead and get in here. Why not? The gaze, that card is unplayable, is why. It's unplayable, is why. I don't like my cards to just. I don't like the 0 for 1 myself. I understand it fuels the yard for Breach. I understand it triggers Phantasm. It's just not a playable card, though. Yeah, people go crazy for that card. Look at our top card here, because we can surveil it away. Oh, they thought he's the Breach. Sorry, they surveilled it. It's in the yard. You know, it's in the yard. Yeah, card is good in Dredge, but just not quite enough synergy for it. Okay, getting Bowmastered. A lot of good draws. Unholy Heat is a good draw. I'm not sure if I want to heat the Bowmaster or heat the Grief. So now that I'm going to get 2 Connives here, I'm going to heat the Bowmaster. Underworld Breach. And Surveillance. You may look at additional 2 cards each time you surveil. Or just kind of combo with huh? In phase because we know they're on Undying effects, and then not exactly winning this race, so let's pump the brakes. Two cards in their hand. 1 card in their hand. So it seems likely they have a land or an Undying effect in their hand. Potentially Bowmasters. Thankfully not Bowmasters. Ledger Shredder lets me attack here. To keep it. It was good to be shredding some ledgers again. I've seen some people echoing Truth Rhinos. It's not like the most obscure interaction. Hakanuma, end of turn. They can get back Grief or Bowmasters. They choose Bowmasters. I guess that makes sense because I've got 2 Ledger Shredders in play. So hopefully they can't double spell. We no longer have a clean block, I guess. Yeah, another Maelstrom Pulse would be bad. But they don't have cast. Yeah, they could have. They probably should just play their land on tap to cast Bowmasters there. Their main phasing would probably means they're conniving, but if they connive, they're dead to me just flipping 2 spells here. I find Unholy Heat off the top. Let's play around their last card being an Undying effect on Orcish Bowmasters, which I think would make a lot of sense by just attacking with this Shredder. And then upkeep, heat the Bowmaster, and then I guess why heat it now? So their last card right now is either an Undying effect or a land. There's basically no other card it can be. So if it's an Undying effect now, what could they draw that would make me want to heat them now? Basically nothing. Yeah, I could also heat the token. They had 2 spells, they had lethal and no blocks. Did they? I'm at 5. Wouldn't it just I would have gone to 1, right? Would I not have just taken 4 more and be at 1? Or what am I missing? Greyhound, 20 months, they go come back. Yeah, let's heat the Orc army. 3 pings. Oh, did I 3 pings more counters on a zombie? Well, isn't it just 2 more counters and 2 pings? Or did they Bowmaster target Ledger Shredder and I missed it? Okay, let's get a 4-1 prediction. Go to 5. Yeah, maybe somebody on Mars. Tapped Abzan Triumph. We have Counterspell for Red and 6. Mulligan on the play against Abzan Triumph, kind of scary. Going to 5 on the play against Abzan Triumph. We just keep the land. I'm going to play around Bowmasters a little bit. Well, I guess I'm not doing that very well, huh? It's Fire Ice. Yeah. So Rainbow Rhinos, probably. Not a matchup I hate, but not a matchup I like to mulligan this low end. We'll just consider end of turn, I think. Keep up the Counterspell. Keep a Ledger Shredder. It's a good card of this matchup. Gonna keep up the Counterspell for this turn, though. Wow, Surveil Leyline in the air. What a combo. Would Baneful Strix even make it in a Bowmaster format? Yeah, Strix would probably just not be very good, and like it's honestly like a lot less about Bowmasters and more about like the card is bad against Yawgmoth, it's bad against Titan, it's bad against I think Rhino's deck too. Maybe it's okay against the Rhino's deck, but not a card I'm super excited about. Like it's literally only good against like Murktide and Hammer, which every card's good against those decks anyways. Really feeling the Multiply of this game. Gonna keep the Shredder on top. But yeah, also weak to Bowmasters, so it's just like, yeah, I don't think the card would be super good. 1 mission briefing in this deck to get Surveil triggers off 1 card and connive. Well, I just like 2 mana enchantments that don't impact the board are probably not playable in this deck. I think to win this game, we're gonna need to hit Delirium right now. Come on, baby. Let's go. It's shredded. Oh, sorry. Mission briefing is. I thought y'all were talking about the 2-mana enchantment that lets you see more Surveil. Mission briefing is just not playable. Just like Otherworldly Gaze, y'all. It's just not a playable card. Well, all that for a drop of blood, huh? I'm just really feeling the mold of 5. Let's go to game 2. I guess technically could draw Breach, but we can't even Breach Heat. I think. 2 explosives, 1 Flusterstorm. Maybe 1 second Flusterstorm. It's been pretty good today. And then I want Pick Your Poisons also against the Scion of Draco deck. They cut my Lightning Bolts. I'm going to cut... I think this time I'll cut a fetch land. Maybe even go up a land in this matchup. So I guess I just don't really need the extra fetchable. I'll cut the island. I just got kind of punished by it earlier and got a little scared, I guess. I think we could trip a Breach. They're probably going to bring in Endurance. I want 4 Heat. A Bauble. We're bringing more artifacts. Okay. First Bolt's great at 3rd Spell Pierce. I would play 4 Spell Pierce happily against the Rhinos deck. There's no shot I'm cutting Spell Pierce, I think. A little bit scared of Dead Gum. I'm still going to play Phantasm on turn 1. Moons are kind of interesting. The problem with Moons is that they just have this card. Blood Moon doesn't do anything. We could play around Dead Gun kind of funny here. If we just go main phase, crack our fetch. I guess we could have gone upkeep, but if they Dead Gun, we can consider in response. Would have Flusterstormed Dismember there. Should have not have sixed. So, nice to have an answer for Scion in the spot, not as scary as it sometimes is. Seems like they don't have it. Which is nice, because then I could potentially just start attacking. I already have 2 good answers to Rhinos here. I'm just going to go ahead and put that in the graveyard. This is an interesting draw too. I think what I should probably do is go Channeler Explosives on 0. This way I can get my breeding pool off the Scalding Tarn and still attack with Phantasm this turn. Maybe I should make them sack the Leyline. I can Flusterstorm a Force of Negation potentially too. But look, like they just don't have... They have 2 tap fetches, so I can kind of like make them take some pain. That... I know I like my top card, so I could do this now for 1 more damage with the ability to Flusterstorm Force of Negation. That's probably good enough. Which could be 2 more damage. And they just concede. Awesome. Okay, game 3. You're kind of lopsided games. I like our sideboard plan. Hibernation versus Leyline decks. We had Choke against it, and it was very fun. We played probably 4 or 5 games where we drew Choke against Leyline, and every single time they just didn't have Leyline. It was kind of funny. But I don't know, it's kind of interesting tech. I obviously it's better against the Rhinos deck, and Hibernation's kind of better because it just kind of locks down all the green creatures, Kavu and the Kala, a lot of Domain Zoo and the Rhinos. I think it's a cool sideboard plan. I don't know exactly how good it is. Be my analysis. If we get Delirium here, this would be awesome, so they can't kill my Channeler super easy. Looks like no such luck. But I will definitely accept Channeler. Channeler says, you don't have to flood out this game, Spike. Yeah, you're welcome. That's a good card to know about. Is Swift Spirit not good enough? You don't typically want to play Swift Spirit and Counterspell in the same deck, no. And a bunch of tap lands with the Surveil. I drew a land anyways, by the way. 3 lands on top. Suspend the Footfalls for my opponent. They keep a card on top. Let's check out what it is. It's a Scion of Draco. Thing. But it's nice here. My brother, you kept Scion of Draco on top. What the hell? I'll put that in my hand. But now I'm gonna hand this, I guess. Let's do Artifact instead of Creature with Flying. Dude, we have surveilled like 4 lands here in this game. Okay, this gives us Delirium. I don't hate just tapping out for another Shredder this turn. Yeah, because I like at this point just do not care if they cascade, so I don't feel like I need to hold up this Pierce too bad. Okay, they use the Endurance. Makes sense. Stepping out for Shredder for his bad dress was I forgot about the Endurance. Obviously should have been a little bit more aware. Although we still are probably not too upset about it. They just pitched a Violent Outburst. Let's still not, but it would have been okay. It would be okay. How did they keep that? That must have been a misclick. I think I want another Spell Pierce. Maybe we should hold that for Connive, but I also want to get another Surveil land. We get 2 Connives right off the bat. I'm going to Spell Pierce now to see if I want to keep this heat or not. Well, I guess I don't have the best info anyways. I'm keeping like any spell on top though. Oh wait, sorry, this is dumb. I need Delirium. Those are dumb. Got Delirium anyways. Okay, so they have Rhinos coming off Suspend that don't really matter very much. Okay, just conceding. Just conceding. Beat Endurance too. Alright, 4-1. Let's do one more. I think I want to second Flusterstorm on the board at least. I have 3 Pierce in the main, but they lost to Tron in round 1. Dude, very few believers. maybe so many doubters because I mold so low. I think Pick Your Poison's also been really good. I think I'm just gonna cut these Blood Moons from the side. I can just